in that particular case, we discuss there are three ways of data communication. Simplex is the place where the data travels only one direction. For example, if you take television broadcasting, it always happens from television broadcast is center to us, so which means simplex data transmission. Then we discuss half duplex, meaning data transmission happens in both directions, but one way at a time. Can you give me some examples, Dolina?
Phone goes.
Walkie-talkie is the one of the examples. Good. So then we discuss finally full duplex, which means the data transmission happens in both direction at the same time, right? And telephone is one of the examples. Then we were discussing the transmission media. That means what medium you are going to use for data transmission. And we discuss guided transmission, which means you use a physical media for the connection. So under that, we discuss twisted pair cables, coaxial cables, and fiber optics. I think that's all we discuss, isn't it? දුරින අන්තිමට අපි fiber optics කතා කරේ.
Oh, okay.
Right. So let me share my screen now. So the next one we are going to discuss about the wireless transmission. Now earlier I said it's guided medium, which means you have a physical medium. But if the transmission happens through air, then we call unguided media or wireless transmission media. So if you take, for example, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, I hope you already know, which is we call use radio waves. So that means the frequency is actually different. So it uses radio waves for the communication. For example, radio and television communication, usually we use radio waves. Then if you want to transmit a long distances, now like if you want to communicate in between countries, then we have to go for microwaves. That means you have short wavelengths, places like satellites transmission, you use microwaves, right? So with that, you can actually communicate with between the among the different countries and continents and so on. So if I show you like satellite communication, let me start with giving you some picture which illustrates how exactly satellite communications happens, right? So hopefully we have data transmissions, satellite transmission. So one of the examples. So let me share my screen again. So in satellite transmission, you have in the space you have the satellite, and we have places like Earth stations. For example, in Sri Lanka, we have Paduka, we have the Earth stations. So through the Earth stations, you can actually transmit data through the satellite. So if you read about the coverage of whole world, they say that 3 satellites are enough to cover whole world. Right. So that's about the use of microwaves. So the first one is radio waves. That's what we use as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And the microwaves we use for communicating long distances. And then places like when you use a remote, for example, television remote, again there will be a transmissions happens. This is similar to wireless keyboards, mouse, and printers. There, what we use a technology is called infrared, right? So, radio waves, microwaves, and infrared are three different transmission media used in wireless communication. Right. The next one, transmission speed. Now, when you purchase an internet connection, you are wondering like what is the data transmission speed? So Dulina, I hope you might have a internet connection at home. Yes? Are you
Yeah.
using a dongle or are you using a router?
No, you are out.
Router. Okay, what was the speed?
Uh, I don't know.
Okay, so then now you should know, right? So next time I'm going to ask you. So usually when you're purchasing a router or a dongle, usually there will be a data transmission speed. Like that means how much data you are going to access within a second, right? Within a second. So that's the measurement we will use. Now, since we are using bits, so usually the basic unit of measurement is called bits per second. In short, we will say BPS. So we will say BPS, bits per second. But you know that in data transmission now you can access, mega and gigabytes data per second. Because of that, there are multiple units such as kilobytes per second, megabytes per second, and gigabytes per second are used. Usually in telecom, if your route is a telecommunication one, now usually you will have like more than 10 megabits per second, right? So you can check, right? So in the bill usually, so you will get what is your the data transmission speed. In normal telephone line, early days when you use modems, we had about like 64 kilobits per second. So this bits per second is a unit of measurement for data transmission speed. Right? So next time, I expect you to look at the speed of your router, right? So it should state somewhere, maybe in the bill, maybe in the router itself. Okay, so that's about the speed. Now the next thing we are going to look at is called computer networks. Now, in your school, you have a computer lab, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many computers are there?
About 20 to 30.
Or 20 to 30 computers you have. So are they connected?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see in your lab the computers are connected, most probably you will have what we call the computer network. The computers connecting together for different purpose. And then there are like advantages you might get by connecting computers together. But the term we use is called computer network. So hopefully in your computer lab, you will have a computer network. So what is a computer network?
Several computers connected together.
Yes, exactly. So if you connect two or more computers together, several computers together, we call a computer network. A computer system with two or more computers which are connected to one another is called computer network. Okay. So Tulina, can you tell me like what kind of advantages you might get by connecting computers together?
Data can be transmitted from one to another easily.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the examples. Now, for example, let's say you are in a multi-story building, and let's say you want to transfer some data from the top floor to bottom floor. So if you do not have any computers are connected, either you have to use a pen drive, CD, or something to copy data from one machine and to transfer other machine, which will take some time. But if the computers are connected within couple of seconds, you can transfer one file from one computer to another. Now that's what we do in data downloading, right? You download sometimes movies from a computer in some other country, isn't it? Within couple of minutes, isn't it? So
Yeah.
that's because of the computer network is there. So internet meaning the largest possible network we could have. So, so which means the data download is simply you are getting your data from somewhere else. Within a couple of seconds, you can access any computer in the internet, right? So that means the sharing data and equipment is. So the data is one thing, and the other one is equipment like printer, for example. Now, early days when you have 10 computers, you should have like 10 printers, for example. Normally, that's what we used to have. And now, if you have a computer network for the whole flow, for example, like if you have 20 to 30 computers in the lab, one print is enough to share with all the 20 to 30 computers. So it's not only data, sometimes you can share the equipment as well. And another one is software cost. Now, in Sri Lanka, we are not really worried about the software cost. Most of the time, if people would not pay for software, right? Maybe they might use sometimes pirated software, and it's illegal. And then, so what could have done is instead of purchasing software individually, you can buy software license for whole lab or whole university, for example. So the cost of the software could be reduced, or it will be cheaper if you purchase licenses for multiple machines, or you can get a special discounts. Now, for example, in universities, sometimes places like Microsoft will give what we call site licenses, which means you pay some fixed amount of money and then you use particular software in all the machines. Right? So one advantage is cost. Cost could be cheaper. Then third one, security is high. Right? Now, when you have a network computers, you have to have a username and password. It's compulsory. Right? You have to have username and password. It's compulsory in a network environment. So usually we say network security is high. And it means only authorized users who can use the system. Now, for example, your school lab could be used by your teachers as well as the students in the school. None of the others, will be able to use your computers. Then the fourth one we call centralized software management. Okay, what do you mean by centralized software? That means the control of the software that you can done in one single place. So installation, sometimes software installation, you don't have to do it in individual machines. Using one machine, you can install the software in other machines. So that could be possible. Right. And then network users can communicate by email and instant messages. Now, if you have a network in your school, so you can use emails within the organization, within the school. So that's possible because of this. Okay, so those are the advantages. Okay, Durina, can you tell me like any disadvantages you will see in the network? Now, what we have discussed is the plus points. How about the negative points? Yes. Any disadvantages? Any problematic area where the network will give you problems? Have you heard about the word hacker?
Yeah.
Yes. What do you mean by a hacker? Remember a couple of years back, one student hacked the president's computer or their website. What do you mean by hacker?
Yeah. having access to something that is.
Yeah, so without any permission, unauthorizedly, if you connect to a one machine, manipulate them, you delete the data there. So the person who does these things are known as hackers, right? Hacker means you come through the network, so you can log into one's machine without the permission, and you can change that. So that's exactly what this particular student has done. He visited the president's website and changed the content, right? So with the network connectivity, people can easily come to your machine. So that's the same as when you access internet. Internet means like you are connected to the largest possible network, and then people can come into your machine through the network, right? Okay. The disadvantages. One thing is you have to purchase additional things, hardware stuff to create a network. So you have to create network cables. You have to use file servers. So those can be expensive. And then somebody has to look after. Somebody has to look at the network. So we need a person who trained in managing a network, like network engineer. So managing a network is complicated, and you need requirement training, and then you have to have a network manager use in your organization. So which means it might be costly, right? And the third one, sometimes your servers are breaks down. That means you don't have access to your valuable files, right? So that is another problem if you are going to, depend on network. Fourth one, there could be viruses. So virus can spread easily through a computer network. Let's say in your school computer lab, if one machine got a virus, within a couple of seconds, virus could spread to other machines in the computer lab. So there's a threat of spreading viruses easily when it is a network computers. The last one is a hacking, especially in the internet. I told you, and then what you could do is you can use a special software. Now, for example, viruses, we have antivirus software. So likewise, to prevent unauthorized access from outsiders, we can install a firewall. Firewall is actually you have both hardware and software solution, which actually blocks incoming connection from the outside. So that's what we call a firewall.
So if someone get access to one computer, can he access the whole network?
Yes, it's possible. It's easier. Now, let's say in your computer lab, if I can come into one machine, then I can easily connect to other machines. That's how usually hackers work in this system. Now, for example, that's why people ask you to have a strong password. Now, let's say you use a password like ABC123, anyone could have guessed. And if you use this username password in one of your machines in network, one can hack into that computer, and through that computer, they can easily connect to other computers. Yes, it's possible.
Security is low compared to others.
Can you repeat it? I couldn't hear you properly.
The security of network is not that high.
Yeah, I mean that's why you have to install firewalls. When you have a firewall checks all the incoming connections, and then if it is suspicious movement, because usually you can see the normal connections, and if something comes from, let's say, China, then you know that nobody will in China will connect to your lab computer, and then software detects it and blocks it. So you have to give a special permission. Let's say if you need someone to connect from China, you have to give a special permission. Otherwise, firewall knows that everybody is local, and then some outsider comes in, it first blocks that connection. So which means hacking will be very minimal if you install a firewall software. Now, for example, Zone Alarm is one of such software that you can install. Okay, any questions, Tulina, from that?
No.
The next thing, Tulina, we are going to look at how this network, are designed. This is we call topology, which means we will discuss how are you going to connect computers together physically. How exactly you are going to do this is called network topology. Most common topology is known as star topology. So which means all the computers in the network, you connect it uh, uh, as a kind of a star, right? So let me show you. Like let me take this drawing. Now let's say we have computers. So let's assume that this is one computer, monitor and a keyboard. And let's say this is another computer. Another computer. Another computer. Another computer. So let's say you have computers like this. And then if all the computers are connected to one computer in the center, or all the computers connect to one machine in the network, this form a kind of a star, isn't it? You can think this as a star. So it looks like the way is like a star. So because of that, if you form a computers like this, we call star topology. So usually this middle one could be a computer, or it could be some network device, such as it could be a hub, it could be a switch, or it could be a router. So normally in our home, usually we have a router and all our devices connect to that router, which means in our homes, we have star topology network. Are you clear, Dulina?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's about the star network. So if computers are connected to each other in a central place, then we call it a star topology. The advantage is you might get it easy to install, which means you have to connect computers into one single place. And also you can easily identify and correct any errors. But the disadvantages are you need large number of wires, because from each, let's say it's a wired network, which means from each computer you have to connect to the central computer, which means take a lot of wires, right? And then if the central computer breaks down for some reason, let's say router burnout, for example, then whole computer network fail. And these are the disadvantages. Right. Then we have what we call the ring topology or loop topology. So in ring topology, what you have is, let's say you have computers like this. Let's say we have computers like this. And then this will connect to each other like this. It will form a kind of a ring, a circle. And usually you have a direction as well, direction of data flow like this. So if you have a computers in this fashion, then we call ring topology, right? And then The advantages are you need very few wires compared to like star topology, because you connect one computer to the other. You don't need that many number of wires as in star topology. But then the problem is, if one computer fails, right? Let's say this computer fails for some reason, the whole system might breaks down, because there will be a one direction, so it's no longer connected together. So that's one of the disadvantages of ring topology. Right. The next one is we call bus topology. In bus topology, it's like the seats in a bus. So you have computers like this. You have computers like this, and there'll be a central wire, right? There are end connectors like this, and computers are connected to this main wire. Computers are connected to this main wire, which is called bus topology, right? So this one is a main wire, right? Advantage again, like in earlier case, you need few wires compared to star topology. But if there's something happens to main wire, then system will break down. So that means your network depends on main wire. So that's the disadvantage of bus topology. Any questions, Tulina?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me what are the topologies we have discussed so far?
Star topology, bus topology, and ring topology.
Yes, we talk about the star topology, ring topology, and bus topology. Right. Now, next one we call tree topology, especially when you have multiple networks. Right. Now, for example, let's say we have a two-story building. In one building, we have a network. Right. So this is the network. I will draw. This is one computer. This is another one. This is another one. And these are connected like this. What is the topology you will see here? Tulina? What is the topology you will see?
Tree topology?
Sorry?
Tree topology.
No, there's no tree here. I have not discussed tree yet.
Star topology.
This is called star topology. Why star? All the computers connect to one single machine. Right? You don't see it as a star, but since all the computers, the two computers are connected to this machine, this is called, yes, star topology. Let's say you have another flow with another star topology like this. Then using a main wire, we can connect these computers together, the networks together. So this is like a network in one floor. This is another floor. Both are star topologies. Connect together. Now you form like a tree branches. So this is called tree topology. So when multiple star topologies are connected together using a main wire, we call it tree topology. It looks like a tree. And usually you will have star topologies in different branches. So advantages is you can, since you have multiple branches, you can control separately. For example, we can provide internet in one network and disconnect the network is another one. Okay. For example, let's say you have a computer network in your school, and one computer lab is for students, one computer lab for teachers. You could provide internet facility to teachers, but not for the students. So you can possibly control in these branches separately. And the next one is the network branches are depend on main wire. Since the branches are based on the main wire, if main wire breaks out, then this network actually breaks down. And since this is a complex one, controlling this system is also quite questionable. So it is, you need expertise to control a tree topology. Any questions, Dolina, from tree topology?
No.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to the last one then, the mesh topology. Now, mesh means all the computers connect to each other, not like in earlier. Let's say this is one computer, this is another one. Let's say this is another one, this is another one. These computers connect each other like this. So this is called mesh topology, right? What are the disadvantages? You see, there will be a lot of wires, the cost is high and difficult to control. What is the advantage? If one computer breaks down, still other computers can communicate each other. So breakdown of a one machine may not affect the other computers in the network. So that's what we call mesh topology. Okay, Durina, can you repeat what we have discussed so far, the topologies from the beginning?
Star topology, string topology, bus topology, tree topology, and mesh topology.
Okay, good. So these are like how we are going to create networks. So depend our requirement, we could develop these networks. Okay. Okay, the next one we are going to discuss about the types of computer networks. These types we discuss how the area which we use the network, the size of the network we will discuss. Now, for example, if the computer network is limited to one building, like your the lab computers, we call it a local area network. In short, we will say LAN, right? A computer network in your school or university within a small area, then we could say it's a local area network. Then let's say you have a network which is wider than that. For example, let's say a network spans a city, which means within a city, within 16 kilometers, we call metropolitan area network. MAN is a large computer network which could cover in a city. For example, the banks connecting together in a city and division secretaries. If they have a computer network which connects to each other, we can say these are comes under metropolitan area network for MAN. Then if you go beyond that, we call wide area network, a computer network spread in large area, like in continents, like in countries, right? Then we call wide area network. So if you take internet, so internet is a wide area network. So we have local area network LAN, metropolitan area network MAN, and wide area network WAN. A network in a supermarket, is it LAN, WAN, or MAN? Dolina?
LAN.
It should be LAN, isn't it? the supermarkets in a city. What is it? Is it land, man, or van? A network which connects supermarkets in a city. Is it a land, van, or man?
Man.
It should be man, right, within a city. Let's say supermarkets in whole world. The network of supermarkets in whole world is
Van.
it should be van because like it connects supermarkets. For example, some of the supermarket or places like let's say McDonald's, Pizza Hut. So it's in all over the world, and if they are connected to each other, that will form exactly a wide area network. Okay, Tolina, let's move to the last one about the network devices. Now, to create a network, you need different devices together, right? So let me show you the figure in your textbook. So this is one of the figures in your textbook. So this will give you like what kind of a devices which may connect in the computer network, right? Now, so there are a couple of things we need to discuss. For example, these are like individual devices like your mobile phone, you have a laptop, and then you have desktop computers, you have server computers, and then you have modems, you have switches, you have routers, and then you have the internet, and you have a firewall. That means actually router with a firewall. Right, now let's look at what those are. And the first thing we are going to discuss is called right. Let's start with the modem. Right now, nowadays actually modems are very scarce, meaning like we are not very frequently use modems nowadays. But early days, modems were very frequent. Now the term modem actually formulated using modulator and demodulator. There are two terms, and using the first couple of letters in these two words, the term modem actually formed. So what it does basically, if you take modulated term, modulation means you convert digital to analog. So if you remember that, let me draw digital and analog signals first. So digitally means like you know that in computers works with 0 and 1. If the signal actually is in between 0 and 1 like this, it's always 1 and 0 like this, then this is called digital. But if the values are continuous, like this is like a sine curve, this is called analog. Right? In computers, we use in this form digital signals in temperatures and then speed, for example. They might change in very frequently like this, and this is called analog. So what modulation does, it convert digital to analog. So it will convert digital signal to analog signal. This is called modulation, right? And then demodulation is converting analog to digital. This is demodulation. So when this happens, now for example, if you want to access the internet through a modem, you know that when we transfer something, our computer to another place, first of all, our computer works in digital form. It will convert into analog form and then send through this signal through a telephone network. And when it reaches the other end, it will convert back the analog to digital and transmit the data into other machine. So for that, we have to use a modem, the device modem. Right. So that's the first thing that we need to discuss today. Then we have hubs. I hope you know the hubs. Let me show you hub. Hubs. meaning like you have a lot of things together. Let me say USB hub. USB hub means you can connect multiple USBs like this, right? Multiple USB hub. So likewise, we have a network hub. Network hub means you can connect multiple networks, multiple cables together. So this is a network hub, right? So it's called a hub. So if you, when you're forming a network like Star Network, you can connect easily all the computers to this device, which forms the star topology, right? This is called network hub. And then you have switches. The switches are slightly different, but looks the same. Slightly different, but looks the same. It looks more advanced. Usually you have more number of ports than hub. Switches like this, and it's more intelligent. What do you mean by more intelligent? So the data is the distribution. Hub sends the data to everyone, whereas switch like centers of where it belongs, right? Which we will discuss later on. But for the time being, switches are more intelligent than hubs. Third one is network switches. Right? Switches are more intelligent. Like I told you, like they can send the relevant device. Hub sends the data to everyone. It's like when you want to give some message to the friends in your school. So hub, what it does, your message will be delivered to everyone. But switch select the right person and delivers the message to only to that person. So that's what we call the switch. Right. Right. Then we will have routers. Router can connect two or more computer networks. Two or more computer networks. Right. The router can be used to connect two or more computer networks. So similar to switch, but more intelligent than the switch. Then you have Wi-Fi routers. So what's available in your home might be a Wi-Fi router, isn't it, Tulina? Your router, is it a Wi-Fi or you have Wi-Fi at home? Dulina, do you have Wi-Fi at home?
Yeah, it is Wi-Fi router.
Yeah. So then it will be a Wi-Fi router. Then you have network interface card that I will show you like what network interface card or NIC. We say NIC. Right. Now early days, nowadays every computer you have this network port, but early days you didn't have. So for that we have to use a separate card. So that card is known as NIC, which means network interface card. So it's called network interface card, which provides the network